Hi everybody, welcome back to Sheet 3. Today we have the full tutorial for our Stellar puzzle box. And I know a lot of you guys are really excited about this box because you've built all these mini-series puzzles throughout the year, and you kind of are familiar with their concepts and are excited to see them incorporated into a larger build. And this puzzle is also difficult, so I know a lot of fans really like difficult Lego puzzles, so we have one for you today. All right, let's get started on the full tutorial. All right, here we have the first two layers. It's going to start with this 8x8 plate and a 1x8 plate. We'll push those together. And I'm going to lock that in with this 2x8 plate. Next, I have a 2x4 tile and a 1x4 tile. Then a 2x2 plate, a 1x2 plate, or sorry, a 1x2 tile, and then a 1x3 tile above those. Then a 1x6 plate, and this 1x2 plate goes here. The 1x4 plate there. And then I have a 1x2 tile. I'm going to skip that stud there. That's going to be for this 1x6 plate. And then the 1x2 tile, and then in this spot, the 1x1 plate. Then I have a 1x3 tile, a 2x3 tile, and if at all possible, use the 2x3 tile. If you have to substitute that one, it is what it is, but it works best if that's a 2x3. And then a 1x4 tile and a 1x1 tile there. Okay, next we have this 2x4 plate and a 1x4 plate. I'm going to skip those studs there in 2 rows, and then this 1x4 plate is going to sit on the outside of the box. This 1x2 tile goes there. I'm going to leave it out for now. We can push that in a minute. And then a 1x2 plate there, another 1x2 tile, and a 1x1 plate. Skipping that one with the tile, then I have a 1x3 plate here and a 1x2 on the end. We've skipped that stud there. Then I have a 2x2 corner plate and a 1x1, and this is a plate and it's also round. If you have a round plate, please use that there. Then this 1x2 plate is going to sit freely for now, just over top of that tile, and then a second 1x2 plate is going to sit on that last one. All right, next we have a 2x2 plate, a 1x2 tile, and then a 2x2 corner plate. This is going to be for the 1x3 plate, and we have another 2x2 corner plate. We can go ahead and push in these tiles. I'm going to skip a stud, and then this 1x1 plate sits there, and then a 2x2 corner plate. This 1x4 plate goes here. And then over top of this moving one, I have another 1x2 plate. Then a 1x3 plate, and another 1x1 round plate, and a 1x4 plate. And I should also note that in this particular box, you can't make as many substitutions. For example, if you did a 1x4 plate there instead of the 1x3 and the 1x1, the puzzle potentially will still work, but I've tried to optimize the pieces in order to make the puzzle work as seamlessly as possible. Next, I have these two 1x2 tiles. I have it in the dark purple and the lime. I bet you can guess which mini puzzle this one comes from, but if you're using new pieces, which I am in these boxes, they do slide, but there is a lot of resistance, and for these two tiles, we don't want as much resistance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off a little bit of both of the inside edges, just so that when this tile slides, it slides very easily. Let's see if you can see this. It's kind of hard against the black background. I'll start with the lime. But essentially what I do is I just tilt it, and I just go back and forth with the sharp part of the knife, and I take off a little bit of this inside edge, and it'll make these little shavings. I don't know if you can see this or not, but you just want to get rid of those. I do it on both sides. And then I like to test it just to see if it's sliding smoothly. That one is. I'm going to go ahead and do the same to the purple, but just off camera. Okay, next I am going to put the purple tile that I trimmed down the edges right on this stud here. And I'm going to put this 1x4 plate on that side of it, and I'm going to put this 1x4 modified plate. It's got the 2 studs on the sides. This one goes here. That tile does not want to stand. Then I have a 1x2 plate here on the end, and this 2x2 corner tile kind of wraps around that plate. Then this 2x2 tile sits there. And I have a 1x2 transparent brick with the under tube removed. You could also franken brick that piece if you don't have a transparent one. Next I'm going to put in these 2 1x4 bricks, and again these are transparent bricks without the under tubes. You will probably remember these ones from our Pisces box. And then a 1x4 brick sits on top of those 3 studs, and then it overhangs one unit. This 2x2 corner plate sits here. We're going to leave that space where the tile is and then put another 2x2 plate on top. I'm just going to set this 1x2 line piece, the one that I modified slightly, I'm going to set that to the side. Then I have this 1x1 tile in dark purple here, and a 1x1 tile that's round, a 1x2 plate, a 1x2 tile, and another 1x2 plate. And then on these 4 studs that are remaining, I'm going to put this 1x1 tile there on that stud, and here is going to be a plate. Make sure these are lined up. And then a 1x1 plate here, and a 1x1 tile on that side. Building up the next layer, I have a 2x4 plate. This one goes here. And on this stud, I have a 1x1 round plate. Then I have a 1x2 plate in coral, and a 1x3 plate in white, a 1x4 plate here, and another 1x4 plate. On this stud that's sitting down a layer, I'm going to put this 1x1 round tile. And then on this outer stud, a 1x1 round plate. Then over here I have 2 studs, but this is going to overhang one. It's a 1x3 plate. And then on that stud, a 1x1 plate. This is another lime 1x2 tile. This is not the one that I modified. This is the modified one. So the one that we modified sits on that stud right there. Then I have a 1x2 plate, another 1x2 plate, and on that stud I have a 1x1 plate. Building up the next row, I am going to start with this 1x1 plate, and then a 1x1 tile, a 1x3 plate, and then I'm going to skip this stud and place this 1x4 tile there. Then I have a 1x1 tile, a 1x1 plate, a 1x1 tile, and a 1x2 plate. Sorry, a 1x2 tile there. And it is important that these colors are different, just so that when you're looking through the window up above, you're able to differentiate that space. Then I have this 1x2 tile in light aqua, and then another one of these 1x4 modified pieces with the 2 studs on the ends. This spot is going to be a 1x1 plate and a 1x1 tile, followed by a 1x6 plate. And then this 1x3 plate is going to sit on those 2 studs and overhang one. And then a 1x3 tile sits right there. For this next layer, I have a 1x3 plate. It sits on those 3 studs. And over top of this stud here, I'm going to put a 1x1 round plate and then a 2x2 corner plate there. On that stud, I have a 1x2 tile in magenta. And then on this stud here, over top of the modified 1x4 plate, I have this piece here. It's a 1x1 tile. One edge is straight and then this edge is curved. I'm going to put the curved side towards the inside of the box. Man, that tile does not want to stay. And then the straight edge here. This 1x1 round tile is going to sit on the other end of that modified plate. Next, we will build 2 sliders, and it's going to start with this 1x2 plate and this 2x2 corner plate. I'm going to push those together. This 1x2 tile sits there, and this 2x2 corner plate attaches those 2 together. Then I have this 1x2 tile. It's going to sit on this stud here. That's in coral. And then a 1x2 plate on those 2 studs, and over top a 2x2 corner tile, like that. And then this one starts with a 1x3 plate and a 1x1 round plate. I'm going to just line that up and then attach it with this 1x2 tile. Okay, and then on both of those studs I have 1x1 plates, then a 2x2 corner plate. That one's just sitting on the one stud and extending, and a 1x1 plate. And then on this stud here I have a 1x1 plate and a 1x1 round tile. And over top of those 3 studs I'm going to put this 1x3 tile. And I've found that you may need to sand down this piece. I'm sanding it down for all the puzzles I'm selling in the Etsy shop. But what you don't want to have happen, so it's this piece here, sitting right like that. You don't want it to get stuck like that. You want that piece to be able to easily, oh, it kind of got stuck that time, but you want it to slide in easily. So just take some fine sandpaper, and hopefully I don't make a huge mess here, but essentially you just want to sand it down just a little bit so that that piece can slide easily. And I'm just clearing off the dust. Ooh. And we'll test it. So that goes on top of there, and then it sits inside of this one, like that. And then this whole piece sits inside the box, like this. Now we're going to build another slider. The base has 2 of these 2x2 plates. I'm going to stack those. And then this 1x2 tile sits here, and a 1x2 plate there. This is a 1x2 brick, and I'm going to put this tile over top. This is going to sit on this stud and extend over the box, like over this little slider piece by 1 unit, and then this tile is going to sit here. Again, I'm just telling you all the modifications I'm making for the puzzles I'm selling. Just because this isn't the strongest piece, I am gluing it for the puzzles I'm selling, but you don't want to get any glue or any remnants of glue on this side of the brick, because this piece here, this tile, has to be able to slide, and it's not going to be able to if it has super glue on it. So I will just put a little bit of glue, and I'm actually going to remove this tile for the process, but a little bit of glue on this side of the stud there. And then I'm going to put this one down. I didn't put any on this side here, right there on that side, just because I want this stud to be totally clear of glue. And then I like to put it down against a hard surface so that it's totally square. And then I'm just gonna let that dry, and I'm going to replace this tile here. Okay, now that this is dried, I'm just going to set it down in this spot right here. And now we can push this purple tile in. For the next step, I have these 2 1x2 plates, and I'm going to take these 2 modified 1x4 plates and put them over top. So I have a plate, a space, and a plate, and then it's going to overhang one in this direction. So the same for this. And then I'm going to put this 2x2 corner brick on this end, and then a 1x2 tile in black over these 2 studs on the end. So it should look like this. And this is going to sit right here. All right, just a few pieces on this next layer. I have a 1x2 plate, that one goes here. And then a 2x2 corner plate that's only on that stud and kind of wraps around that 1x3 tile. And then a 1x4 plate and the rest of that gap there. And then also a 1x4 tile, and it's going to sit on that single stud. If this tile is coming off of that single stud, you can also just put a little tiny bit of glue on that stud in order for that tile to stay. And then you can test this portion to see. This will tighten up as we put more and more pieces on the, what I call like the roof of this piece here. But it's sliding good now, but just continue to test that as we build up the puzzle. Okay. Okay, this next row is difficult to see, so I'll be sure to call out the names of all of them. This is a 1x6 plate in black. Sits there, and you can just press up on the underside of that 1x4 plate just so that that is all secure. And then a 1x1 plate in black, and a 1x2 tile, and another 1x1 plate on the end. Over those 3 studs is a 1x3 plate. And then this 1x2 plate is going to sit on that stud and then partially over that tile. We're going to leave a space there for that tile, and then I have a 1x3 plate in black and a 1x4 plate. And then in that space, a 1x2. And then sitting over top of that tile just freely for now is a 1x1 plate. All right, the first thing I'm going to do is attach that floating 1x1 plate with this 1x4 plate in magenta. And then I have this 1x2 tile. This one is in a transparent neon green, and it's going to sit right in between that round tile and this kind of half rounded, half straight edged one. And I'm going to flip it upside down. I feel like the puzzle works just a little bit better with it upside down. And then we're going to lock all that in with this 1x8 plate in yellow. And then I have a 4x4 plate in line. That one goes there. On the end here, this 1x4 plate in medium azure, a 1x3 plate in pink, and then a 1x1 plate again in black. Then on this side, I have a 1x4 plate in dark purple. The stud I've left open for now. And then a 1x3 plate in light bright orange, a 1x2 plate in coral, and a 1x2 plate in light aqua. Okay, this next part is going to be our window, and it's going to start with this 1x2 bracket piece. I'm going to put this 1x2 plate on this side of it, and then on these two side studs I'm going to put 2 of these 1x2 bricks that are transparent, and then this piece here. And I'll get a part number for this one, I'm not sure what it's called. All of this is going to sit on that stud there, and it's going, this piece here is going to hang over the edge of that yellow plate, like this. All right, for the next layer I have a 1x1 plate, that one goes there, and a 1x1 tile, a 1x2 plate, a 2x3 plate, and then I have a 1x2 plate, a 1x3 plate. This is a 1x4 tile in light bright orange, and then a 1x2 tile here. In this space there, a 1x4 plate, and another 1x4 plate, a 1x1 plate, a 2x3 plate, and then I'm going to leave that stud, the coral stud, open. This 1x3 plate sits here, a 1x2 plate next to it, and on that stud a 1x2 tile. All right, for the next part I have a 1x2 plate, a 1x4 tile in yellow, a 1x1 Technic brick with a hole, and then a spring. This is a 1-inch spring that I got out of the back of a pen. And 1 inch is just a little bit too long, so I'm going to take my pliers and I'm going to use the wire cutter portion and just trim just a little bit off the end. And you can see how much I took off. It's just this tiniest bit. Then I'm going to put the side that I cut into this Technic piece, and this is going to sit right here. So I'm going to line up that Technic piece, and I'm actually going to attach that tile now. And then I'll get that tile out of the way. And then I'm just going to push the spring in so that it sits right here. So half of it is inside that Technic piece, and then the other half is up against the edge of the box there. This was the tile that came off while I was doing that. And then I've attached the Technic piece to that 2x2 corner brick with this tile here, and then this 1x2 plate sits there. And if you need to just line that up a little bit better, you can. All right, I am going to build another slider. It's going to start with this 1x3 plate in black, and then I have this 1x2 plate in red lined up with the end, and then this 2x2 corner plate is going to sit on that stud and overhang one stud. I have a 1x1 plate in that light bright orange color here, and then a 1x3 plate, and a 1x3 tile in pink over top of those. And then on this stud I have a 1x2 plate, and I think I must have forgotten a plate, or sorry, this is a tile. I don't know if I said plate or tile there. But on this stud inside the box, this one right here, this needs to have a 1x2 tile on it. So I'm going to push this on. This is the tile I just added, and then I'm going to push it in. So that it looks like this, that tile right there. And then we put this piece in with this side that has the 4 different colors. That's going to be on the outside of the box, like this. All right, the next layer, where should I start? We'll start with this 1x6 plate. It goes here, and then a 1x1 plate on the end, a 1x1 plate here, and then I have a 3x3 plate right there, a 1x3 plate, and a 1x2 plate. This is the 1x4 plate, a 1x6 plate, and then a 2x2 plate in that gap there. All right, this next piece is going to start with a 1x4 plate, and this is one of the pieces that we will frankenbrick. So I'm going to turn it over and remove this top stud. I'm going to grab a hold of that under tube, rock back and forth, and then pull that piece off. It's just a small piece like that. And then mine has a little bit of residual plastic, so I'm just going to pull that out, smooth it out. And then sometimes on the inside edges, these plates will have little ridges there. You want to make sure that this piece is sliding smoothly, so you want to remove the ridges if it has any. This one does not, it's sliding smoothly already. So now that I have that plate, the under tube I removed is on this side. I'm going to use one of these 1x4 modified plates, put that over top, and then a 1x1 plate in yellow there. And this is going to sit on that coral stud. And then I want to lock it in with this 1x2 plate here, a 1x1 plate on the end, another 1x4 modified plate, and a 1x2 plate. Okay, we have a 1x2 plate next, and then this 1x2 tile here, a 2x2 corner plate, and a 1x2 plate there. And then we're ready for our light brick. The new light bricks will have this black little tab so that you can't push this. I guess you can push it in, but it doesn't light up. So you want to remove that. It's just a little piece like that. And then one side has the light, the other side has this spot where you can push. We're going to put the light side facing out here on that side, and then this portion where we can push, it's going to go on this magenta side. And I want to line it up on these 2 studs here. So starting even with that yellow tile, is where I'm going to put the brick. All right, next I have a 1x4 plate that goes here, and then this 2x2 corner plate is going to sit right here. A 1x3 brick goes here, a 1x4 brick there, and then on these 2 studs I have a transparent 1x2 plate. On this stud here, a 1x1 plate, and then I have another 1x2 transparent plate. This is going to sit in that overhang and then on that single stud there. A 1x2 brick sits right here, and then in that spot a 1x1 brick in transparent clear. A 2x2 corner brick here, a 1x2 brick, and a 1x4 brick, and then another 1x4 brick here, and a 1x2 brick. And those could also be 1x6s. I think 1x6s are sometimes difficult to find. and that's why I used a 1x4 and a 1x2. For this part, this can absolutely be a 2x4 brick. In fact, it'd probably be better. This was just one of those things where it was built like this originally and never fully got edited out of the design. But if you have a 1x4, that's preferable to, or sorry, a 2x4, that's preferable to the 2x3 and the 1x2. And then I have a 2x2 tile here, a 1x2 plate, and then over top of that, a 1x2 tile in yellow. Okay, the next layer will have a 1x3 plate here, and we're just going to center it on those. So we're going to leave a stud on both sides, and then we're going to build up this wall right here. So this one was my 1x2, that was my 1x1. And I'm just going to reverse the order for a little bit of strength. So the 1x1 here in transparent clear, and then the 1x2 on this side. And then over those 4 studs, I have a 1x4 tile, and then a 2x2 corner tile there. All right, I have another Frankenbrick piece. It's a 1x3 plate, and similar to the 1x4 plate, I'm going to remove this top under tube and then get rid of any of the extra plastic. Test it to make sure there are no side ridges, and on this one there are not. So there's the under tube I removed. I'm going to flip it over, put this 1x3 plate on top, and then in this back, on the underneath side, I'm going to put that 1x1 plate and drop it right here into that spot and lock it onto that stud. All right, the next layer starts with this 1x8 plate, and it's going to sit on that outer stud. And then I have a 2x3 brick. This goes here, and a 1x2 tile sits next to it right there. Then I have a 1x3 plate and those 3 studs there. I have another 1x1 transparent brick. This is going to sit on that stud here, and then another one on this stud there. I have a 1x2 plate here on the end, and then a 1x2 plate here, and on that stud a 1x1 transparent plate right like that. That will start to build up our 3. The next layer starts with this 1x3 plate. It's going to sit over top of those 3 studs there. Now those ones are all the same height, with the exception of that one on the end. I have a 1x4 brick. This one sits on the end. And then we're going to start with these ones next. I have a 2x2 corner plate. It sits on this stud and kind of over the edge of the box, over that tile. And then I have the same thing but in medium azure. That one sits there for now. And then this third one is going to sit on those 2 studs like that. And we're going to lock all that in right away with a 2x4 plate. Then over top of this stud, I have a 1x1 round tile. And this 1x3 plate sits here. Then I have a 2x2 corner plate there, and a 1x3 plate. All right, building up the next layer, I have another 2x4 plate, a 2x2 plate, a 2x3 plate, and a 1x3 plate. On these 2 studs here, I have this 1x2 brick. The same thing for this side. Then I have a 1x3 plate and a 1x2 plate. And then I have another 1x2 transparent plate. That will make the top portion of our 3. and then a 1x1 plate in between, and another 1x2 plate. And that will make the top portion of our C. All right, the next layer starts with a 1x1 plate right there, and a 1x4 plate, another 1x1 plate here. Then across this middle area, we have a 1x4 plate that connects those transparent pieces to the outside of the box, and a 1x4 brick on that side. All right, then in this space here is a 1x1 plate and a 1x3 plate over top, a 1x4 plate here, and another 1x4 plate. The next piece starts with this 2x2 corner plate, and I'm just going to put this round 1x1 plate underneath like that. And then I have a 1x1 plate here and a 1x4 plate like this. That's really going to extend off the edge. And then on this side of the 1x4 plate, I want to stack 2 more of these 1x1 round plates like this. And then I'm going to connect it together with this 1x2 tile in lime, a 1x1 tile in light bluish gray, a 1x1 tile in dark purple, and then another one in yellow. And on that stud there, I have this 1x2 tile in white. And this is going to sit inside the box. Actually, that needs to be pushed forward right here. And if these tiles are a little lopsided, you can always kind of run it against the edge of a table to smooth them all out. We're getting super close, guys. All right, a 1x1 plate here and a 1x6 plate. Then I have a 4x4 plate on the end, a 1x3 plate, and a 1x4 plate. And lastly, we just have these decorative tiles on top. We have a 1x4 tile, a 1x2 jumper, and then we have a 1x1 tile here, and a 1x6, a 1x1 there, a 2x4, a 1x2, another a 2x2, and another 2x2, a 1x6, a 1x2, a 1x4, I might be missing one. I am missing one. This one goes all the way to the end there, and that one is another 1x1. And then a 1x1 tile in medium azure. That's going to be our tool. We have a 2x2 and a 2x4 and a 1x2 and another 1x2. And then we have, let's see, a 1x8 tile, and that sits right on top of the jumper. And Stellar Lego Puzzle Box Level 10, Can You Solve It?, is finished. All right, we look forward to seeing you all for the solve. Sheet 3, out.